Howdy, howdy, fellow trainers, and welcome back for another entry into the Pokemon Bliss and Oblivion Project here at PTE Creative. As always, I am your host, Evan Davies. Today, you have a new Pokemon to meet that is perfect for this Halloween holiday season. It's time to meet them right here, right now. Today, I want to introduce you to Darkmageus, which is an evolution of Darkrai that I am so happy and thrilled about. So as we go to see sort of the creation of Darkrai, you can see in the bottom left corner, I actually have done a rendition of this in the past, but it's as I was first getting into my digital art, it was one of those Pokemon that as I drew it, I knew, oh god, I gotta do that. But I think it gets a little too far away in some aspects, and I really want to have a full digital process because I've been really refining my skills and gotten better over time. So I like trying to do it all digital now as a bit of a challenge to force myself to get better. When you see this rendition of Darkmageus, you can see a little bit more personality throughout the chest. It looks a hair bit more fiendish as opposed to the just spiked look. More as though it's a gaping mouth or a gaping face. That's more the look I was going for, and you can see that within the midsection and the chest. Plus, we get to see a little bit more of that collar highlight, as to just, it's almost as if it's shackled. So you take the initial look of the Darkrai original artwork that you can see in the top left corner. You can see how those pieces kind of switch and morph into something different here with Darkmageus. And then once you see the color put on, you're seeing the color palette is pretty faithful, but a little bit more saturated. I wanted to go for a little bit more of those deeper tones, those really saturated colors. Still, it's not completely saturated, especially as the editing process continues, but you can still see a more saturated color than the original Darkrai design. But the whole idea here is we're making this an evolution of Darkrai in which the Pokemon goes from this fiend of a nightmare to completely under control of its environment and completely under control what it does to trainers or what it does to things that interact with it, which I always thought was a really fun idea to play with here. So as we go back to that rendition of Darkmageus, you're seeing far more of that classic, wizard or witch hat, which is a very, very intentional idea here. I also looked at artwork from just random places that I really enjoyed. I'm a huge fan of Tim Burton, especially those early Tim Burton Batman films. Those really inspire me, and it was, again, really fun to get that into play with the idea of all of our starter Pokemon in the Helzari region are all based off of superheroes. So I thought that was a very worthwhile thing to add there as well. However, you can see a lot of Tim Burton-esque things in that. The swirled pattern on the shoulders, I thought was a fun addition as well. Those things, they don't even, the thought of, oh, I'm going to put that in because it's Tim Burton, that never comes to my mind. I think of these half the time after the fact because I go, where did I get that? Why do I know that? Why is it so recognizable to me? And it's because of similar artworks in the past that really inspired me. And we are all, as we create Pokemon or as we create characters, we're all inspired by the things we've seen in the past. We're always kind of going for something of that nature. So I really wanted this fiendish-looking mage that went from a monster of your nightmare to completely in control of the nightmare that they create. That was kind of the idea with Darkmageus. We keep the pure dark typing, and it's a pure evolution from Darkrai to Darkmageus. The common location, I'm not going to reveal that just yet, because although we have unveiled the basics of the Helzari map, we haven't done the full-fledged map reveal yet here, so I want to wait for that one. But it's going to be a fun story to play with. As we go to its Pokedex entry, Darkmageus is the Horrid Shade Pokemon. A nightmare brought to life. Ancient legend states that this evolved form of Darkrai has the power to create a person's nightmares through wicked illusions. A person subject to these illusions may writhe in agony unless spared by this fabled fiend. So, I'm seeing a few edits I have to make in that one, but nonetheless, doesn't matter because we still get the point across here. This is a Pokemon that's completely in control. You see a lot of Pokemon designs, and the way they're used in stories, they feel as though things just happen. They are creatures in the world, and things happen to them, and they're reactionary. Darkmageus is not reactionary. It's very plotting and methodical, but it has a lot of purpose to it. It's not pure evil, but it inspires pure evil, which is why it kind of has that reputation. Now, the ability, it does get a custom ability. It's something that I don't generally do for a lot of my Pokemon. Again, I like to be as faithful as possible to the existing material and use that to the advantage of the Pokemon design so they feel a little bit more real. However, the ability Mortify takes the ability Bad Dreams and amplifies it even more. Darkrai's original ability is called Bad Dreams, in which when a Pokemon has fallen asleep, at the beginning of a turn, if it's still asleep, it loses, at the end of a turn, it loses an eighth of its maximum HP. So it's constantly draining your life force through Bad Dreams. I love that concept. Darkmageus is supposed to be completely in control of that. So not only does that happen, but there's a 10% chance that your Pokemon, if you were battling this, will flinch at the start of a turn simply because it's battling Darkmageus, because it's that fearsome, it's that frightening. Total height is about 6'3". You can see it's a little bit taller than the rendition of Chris that we have up there. I always put Chris at around the 5 to 5'2" mark, so you can see it's still got a good foot, especially with the hat on it, and it's still a very fiendish, larger Pokemon compared to a lot of others. Base stat is 675, which puts it into the category of a lot of legendaries. It's only 25 points under Arceus, which is the highest base stat total that you will find in game. A lot of legendaries like Lugia, Ho-Oh, they have the 680 mark. That's really where I was going. I wanted Mewtwo is at the 680 mark. I wanted Darkmageus in that realm to be a very, very powerful Pokemon. So you can see 675 base stat. HP goes up to 90. Its attack and defense doesn't go up much. It goes from 90 to 95. But the special attack jumps from 135 to 150. Special defense goes from 90 to 105. And the speed goes up from 120 to 140. So we're talking about a very powerful special attack and defense monster with a huge amount of speed. So I thought that would be just a really good interpretation of what this Pokemon could look like. And then this is far more of a story element, but Darkrai evolves into a Darkmageus when exposed to something called a Crystal Tear. That's heavily based in our story that we're creating for the Halzari region. It's an object that is based off of a lot of history in the Halzari region, which will be told throughout the story, and it's a ton of fun to get to play in that realm. Now, generally speaking, I am not a huge fan of legendary evolutions because they don't inherently make sense. But the idea behind this was A, it was a challenge, and B, the real cool part about it was, is there a reason, is there a form of logic as to why this has to happen? Because if it does, then I'm all for it. You know, I've talked about pro wrestling in the past on the channel a lot, frankly. And the idea is you don't want to gimmick a gimmick. So what that means is you don't want to have, if you're going to build a match where it goes to a steel cage match, you don't want to then have the gimmick of a bunch of weapons inside a steel cage match. Because then you're gimmicking a gimmick. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So with Darkrai, you already have this fiendish mythical Pokemon that is a powerhouse. But it's not perfect. So you have to avoid the idea of gimmicking a gimmick. It's already a gimmick as a mythical Pokemon. So the idea was create this story around it to really make root of why Darkmageus is a completely different animal, completely different sentient being than Darkrai. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy the story that's going to be told with Darkmageus in time. You're going to get a little bit of preview of that in the near future, but we're going to keep that under wraps for now. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to send you these quick messages and talk a little bit on the backside. I hear you guys are really liking PT Creative's content. And you know what? You should, because it's pretty rad. You may even want to support the channel even more. Well, there's a way you can do it and reward yourself. And that's by going to our Etsy shop. Head on over to PTE Creative's Etsy shop and you can find all kinds of cool merch like you see on screen. You may be watching some of our Pokemon themed content and going, I'd love some merch there. You can do that. You can even get our custom Fakemon stickers right there, or stickers of existing Pokemon, t-shirts, or mystery packs. But you may be saying, I don't know if Pokemon's maybe my vibe. You know what? That's fine, because we got all kinds of fun, snarky millennial content and sports-related things over at the Etsy shop as well. You maybe got some big bench warmer energy that you just got to spread with the world. Or maybe you just need to tell people that you hope both teams are having fun as they're playing, because it's just all about vibes to you, and you hate to see it. You'd hate to see it if you didn't get your merch. You can go get that merch right here, right now. Head on over to Etsy. Go to etsy.com/shop/PTE Creative and go get yourself some awesome merch and go support a local content creator in this community we call the internet. Hope y'all see some great merch coming soon from Etsy. Go to PT Creative on Etsy and get yourself some great merch. No! Hey friends, I know you're enjoying this show, but we want to prime you for a new show. Go check out the weekly schedule over at PT Creative and find your new favorite podcast or show to watch. Monday and Thursday, you get the Far Out Football podcast with news, analysis, and notes of the NFL season, plus great projects during the off-season like draft analysis and what-if questions like what if the NFL expanded. Tuesday, go to the ONETA Show for absurd takes and fun all around. The topics in entertainment, gaming, movies, television, you name it, ONETA Show is going to talk about it. Wednesday, you can go check out the Pokemon Bliss Oblivion Project, in which new Pokemon are being designed every single week as we create the Halzari Fakemon region. Friday, it's kind of a fun, laid-back day over at PT Creative. You can go open some brand new Pokemon card packs, or get some new specials and seasonal content coming your way on a Friday. And finish your week out with the Wisco Movie Watchers podcast on Saturdays. Get great movie recommendations, learn some movie history, and just have a grand old time listening to some dialogue. It's going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun over on Saturdays, just like it is every single day over at PTE Creative. Go check out new podcasts, new content, new shows every single Monday through Saturday over at PTE Creative. Now enjoy the rest of your show. Alright, you guys saw it there. Go get yourself some artwork from our Etsy shop and go check out the rest of our content. You saw our weekly schedule. That's got to be revised a little bit, though. Part of the reason I want to talk to you is we're changing the schedule up a little bit more. I'm getting a lot more into some creative work that's taking some time, and I want to make sure the product that you guys are getting is great. So we're no longer going to have Far Out Football on Mondays and Thursdays. It's just Thursdays. ONETA Show, still good on Tuesdays. Wednesday, you're already here, know that. You're going to see a lot more Pokemon come Wednesdays. Thursday, you're still going to get Far Out Football. Friday is going to be, I don't want to say hit or miss. We're still going to have a lot of consistent programming, but you're going to see a lot more specials and a lot more creative stuff coming through and original content, not responding to just things of the nature kind of like we were doing in the past. Or we're getting away from some of the other original content we did and reflecting what you guys want. And Saturdays, we're still going to have Wisco Movie Watchers podcast, which is great, and Sunday's still going to be extremely hit or miss like it's been in the past, because, again, we all need recharge time, just like I do. So, that is where our schedule is going to be, but you can still stay in tune, because we have content coming to you every single week, so keep on it. Check out our socials for a lot of cool content as well. But in the meantime and in between time, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace, love, and hugs to you all. Go catch some great Pokemon and have